Hi everyone, it's me again, Kirsty. The weather was so sweet this month that I decided to film my monthly outside this time, so that's why everything looks a little different. I filmed outside on my balcony and had my little tiny table out there, so that was fun. For June this year, I decided to do a Boho inspired theme. I did this once before in 2019. I think that was also for June. And I enjoyed it so much that I decided to do that one again. So I copied lots and lots of things, like this dream catcher, for instance, that I did back then. So I didn't have to come up with lots and lots of things on my own, and I could just copy the things that I enjoyed back then. And I was writing my bachelor thesis at that time, my first bachelor thesis, that is. And it was such a hectic month that I couldn't really enjoy this theme to its fullest. So yeah, this year is a little calmer, so I figured it might be cool to revisit a theme that I really, really loved. And yes, I used a couple of different shiny metallic pens for this, and one of them was this Staedtler one that you cannot see perfectly. Sometimes I felt like outside the lighting wasn't always perfect, and yeah, so sometimes it looks pretty dark and darker than it is in real life, and it doesn't look as shiny as it is in real life, even though it's not as shiny as the silver pen that I'm using. But anyway, I can promise you in real life it looks even cooler and bluer than it does on camera. So I started off with my title page. That took a little longer this time because I don't know, for this whole journal I just had different title pages that always spanned over a whole spread instead of just one page. And I wanted this one to look as good as I could. It just looked a little weird when I only had the Dreamcatcher on one side and nothing on the other. So there was a lot of drawing involved for this particular spread. So yes, that's why the first few minutes are just me drawing some different Boho-inspired things. So you already saw me draw that Dreamcatcher that I've done in a weekly back in 2019, which I really loved. And what you see me draw right now is one of the moons with some different feathers and ornaments that are dangling from it. And at the very last, I drew this tiny little jar that has the sun in it. And it has a cute little face, and I love it. And it's very cute and very tiny, and there's some fireflies in this glass as well. And yeah, at the end, so that everything looked tied together a little better, I used my silver gel pen and added these tiny little swooshes of little dots in between so that it looks like they are on some sort of starry plane. I don't know. Plane meaning the same surface and not the thing you travel with. It just made everything come together a little more nicely. And yeah, that's where you can actually see the blue pen a little better. I think when it's close up, it's a little easier to see. And yes, that's all there is to my title page, I believe. So next up, you know the drill. I'm going to be taking care of my monthly calendar spread. This month, this is quite simple. It's just my big calendar in the middle, and then the title June on the left side, which is German again, by the way. I found it was a very cute idea on my title page to exchange the eye for a little feather. And yes, on the right side of this page, I just drew some different kinds of ornaments that just came to my mind. That was something that I did in my setup in 2019. I had that element on every single page back then, and it was just a cool element that just made things look more boho immediately, just because you had this line of different kinds of, I don't know, little arrows and triangles and all sorts of things, little bubbles. And whatever just came to my mind that I felt like looked very much like boho. And I drew this little moon in the middle with a cute little face. And I will also try and go ahead and link all of the reference pictures that I used for this one. I will have to look deep into my Pinterest account and see if I saved them back in the day. Because, as I said, for this setup I only had my old journal open and just copied the things that I enjoyed. So the moon was on my title page. So yes, I tried to copy that again because it looks cute and as if it's asleep. I had to take a break from filming there because the sun came out, which I think you could see. So yeah, that's when I just chilled for a little bit before I went on with the next spread. Next up, I'm setting up my trackers page with all of my different habit trackers on the left side, and on the right side I'm having my sleep and my mood tracker as always. And yeah, there's not very much to say, except that I set up everything as I do pretty much every month with the same habits and with the same little calendars for my habit tracker, and then the huge 2 boxes for my sleep and mood tracker that are going to be filled with different bars for when I went to sleep and when I woke up, and with a little graph for my mood where I just add a dot and a line in between each day so that I have a nice graph in the end. I know I promised to show you what it looks like when it's filled out at some point, and I will at some point. I just didn't have the time, or I didn't want to go back and take a picture and add it to this video, whatever. I will do that in the future. I think I've promised that a million times, but anyway. No one has complained so far except for me, so I guess nobody cares. For the titles on this page, I only added the titles in my silver gel pen, and then I had lots and lots of cute little ornaments and little moons and little arrows and feathers again that were just dangling from the top of the page. If you happen to want to recreate any of this, I can highly recommend Googling Boho or just looking for it on Pinterest, because there are so many ideas of what sorts of things you could be doing. It was just a vibe that I had in mind back in 2019, and I knew I wanted to do something with feathers and something dreamcatchery, and the whole vibe that came to my mind was boho. So if you do happen to Google boho, there are so many ideas on what you could do in terms of drawings that are very inspiring, I think. So, yes. The next spread is my notes page, or my brain dump, as you already know. That's the page that I keep pretty much empty every month so that I can just add whatever comes to my mind during the month at whatever point in time. And I did the same thing that I did for my trackers page in terms of decorations. I just added little feathers and little ornaments that were dangling from the top, and I just tried to decorate them in whatever way made them feel very boho to me, just as I did those 2 arrows at each side of the notes title. So that's it. I went back in with my silver gel pen and just added some little bits and bobs here and there where I felt it could be a little more shiny, and that is pretty much it for my notes page. This is also a spread that I should probably take a picture of when it's filled out, so that you have a little more of an idea what I actually use it for. I feel like I'm a broken record every single month that I explain the same things all over again, but yeah, maybe that's something you would like to see as well. Do let me know. The last spread here is my weekly page, which is again the same layout that I did last month, I believe, where I just have one page for all of the tasks I need to get done in a month. And snappity snap. That was easy. So what I was saying was that the next 3 pages are going to be for me to just write diary as every month. And yeah, I always just set up one weekly page because it's only a page and not a spread. Ha! In the corner of this page I drew this little feather, which used to be on the page for my bachelor thesis brain dump. And that is all pretty much done. So yeah, I feel like my videos are getting shorter and shorter at this point, but
I'm not complaining. Means I don't have to do that much of a voiceover, and I never know what to talk about except for talking you through what I'm doing, which you can see, but you know, it's nicer to have someone talk. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that I will see you in my next one very soon, and see you next time. Bye bye.